You know, when you think of the WarGames match, the first company that comes to mind is WCW. And there's a reason for it. WarGames was basically a staple for WCW. Now, speaking of WarGames, as you've seen in the short little videos, I did obtain WarGames this past week. Ironically, it was the last DVD 3-disc copy that my town's Walmart had. So, I was able to obtain it when I did. I was able to obtain it when I did. And I have to say, ladies and gentlemen, that it's pretty good. I highly recommend any of you out there, if you have not yet gotten this DVD or Blu-ray, you need to get it. It's definitely worth watching. It's basically before every match, you have Dusty Rhodes, who is basically the originator of the match, giving you basically a behind-the-scenes deal of how the match came about, why the match, how much the match evolved throughout the years that it came into existence. And I think that's pretty cool. I really do. I really like how they emphasize that a lot. Now to me, when I look at this release, a release that I'm pretty sure a lot of fans are waiting for, I look at the fact that the WWE, whether we like them or not, definitely has a vested interest in WarGames. They do. I mean, it's like the American Dream said at the end of Disc 3. Basically, he said that the WarGames have evolved. And basically, the WarGames nowadays is known as either Lockdown or Elimination Chamber. But I know, like anybody else watching this, I know that, as I mentioned, WWE has a vested interest in WarGames. I mean, heck, Triple H himself at one time pointed out that he was a fan of WarGames, and I think even pointed out that he would love to bring WarGames into WWE. But the question, but the lingering question they always had was, what would be the perfect setup to do that? How can you set up WarGames to occur? Well, I think anybody would agree that WarGames, for it to truly happen, would have to happen at an event like Survivor Series. It would. It would have to happen at an event like Survivor Series. It makes a lot of sense. It really does. Either that, or you replace one of the ongoing B pay-per-views, or mid-card, or kind of midway, or B-level pay-per-views with a WarGame-related pay-per-view. I mean, heck, they even asked a couple of years ago, in a poll, they asked, all right, we're going to replace Judgment Day, what do you want us to replace it with? And WarGames was one of the names that came up. Excuse me. WarGames was one of the names that came up. So the question being, how much of a vested interest does WWE have in the WarGames concept? Well, considering that they evolved it, as the American Dream pointed out, with the Elimination Chamber, there is no doubt in my mind, like I said, that the timing needs to be the right timing. It needs to be the correct time and place for the WarGames match to take place. Even Wikipedia mentioned that one of the matches that you could play is a tornado tag inside Elimination Chamber. And that's pretty cool. You can even do that in Hell in a Cell, but you get my idea. or get the idea that I'm talking about. In WarGames, it has such a legacy, such a prestige to it, such a majestic prestige and aura about it, that every independent, mid-card sized company out there, or promotion out there, has done their own WarGames match. I mean, heck, 2 years ago, doesn't even feel like it, but 2 years ago, Women's Superstars Uncensored, WSU, did the first ever all-women's WarGames match between Team WSU and the Midwest Militia. So, and of all people that were involved in it, Mercedes Martinez was involved, if you can believe it. But like I said, it's got such a majestic legacy and everything that every company, from Ring of Honor, CZW, IWMS, you name it, they have come up with their own WarGames match. UWF Live have come up with their own WarGames match. They've done it all. But again, out of all these promotions, TNA being one of them, that's sort of continuing it with Lethal Lockdown, everybody is waiting for the moment that WWE announces that they will be doing the WarGames. That's what they're waiting for. And right now, the timing is what's up in the air with WWE. I mean, you've got a lot of factors that have to come into play. You have a lot of factors that have to come into play. Right now, you have the Shield, which is a faction. And the Shield could align themselves either with 2 new members, an additional member, 2 additional members, or they can align themselves with people like Curtis Axel and maybe Brock Lesnar. You get the idea. The point I'm trying to make here, folks, is WarGames it's there. It's on the cusp of WWE bringing it in. But like I said, they need the right situation, the right scenario, the right timing to do it. Survivor Series, in my opinion, is the perfect place to have it take place, the perfect event for it to take place. The timing, the scenario, that's all a different matter. And here's why I say that. Because, one, like I said, you need certain groups of wrestlers. You need something. On one end, like I said, you have something like the Shield that can align themselves with Lesnar and Axel if they wanted to. Or even align themselves with members of the Wyatt family. Just saying. On the other hand, you have a group like the Wyatt family that's being brought in a big way. Then, on the other side of that, you got other factors. You got people like Cena, Daniel Bryan, Orton, Sheamus, excuse me. Like I said, you got Cena, you got Orton, you got Sheamus, you got Daniel Bryan, you got CM Punk. You got all these guys. Dolph Ziggler. You got all these guys out there that could benefit from doing this one thing, from doing this. On one end, you could have a team consisting of a Cena, of a Daniel Bryan, a CM Punk, and a Randy Orton, and maybe a Sheamus. And on the other hand, you could have a team consisting of the Shield. You could have a team consisting of the Shield and Axel and Lesnar, or whoever else they get in, or the Shield and the two members of the Wyatt family. I mean, think about the possibilities that could happen. And then add in the fact that the match could not end until all the members are in, and it can only be won by submission or surrender. Think of the intrigue you have in that. Think of the intrigue and interest the fans would be given. This is why I believe WarGames is going to be coming to WWE in the near future. I believe WWE is going to bring WarGames, is going to make WarGames a reality. They are. I believe, it's going to say something like that in the title, basically saying I believe WarGames will debut soon in the WWE. I just do. I mean, you got the WarGames DVD and Blu-ray. You got people talking about it, wanting to see it happen, and down the line, you know they're going to make it happen. I mean, heck, look what they did in NXT about a couple of months ago. They did a 1-hour Clash of the Champions. That's a WCW name, Clash of the Champions. So if they can do a Clash of the Champions there, what does that tell you of what else they could bring to the forefront? They already did the Great American Bash. What else is there? And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, wouldn't that upstage the Elimination Chamber? No, because here's the difference between WarGames and the Elimination Chamber. The Elimination Chamber has the time frame of WarGames. All right, it has. This is what it has. I'm just looking at with my dog. This is my dog hears something. She always, I don't know what that is. I gotta make sure my mom's not gonna show up any time, but she shouldn't because she's out getting my family members for 4th of July. But anyway, like I said, when you think about WarGames, an Elimination Chamber, here's the thing about Chamber. Yes, a part of it's inspired by WarGames, but it's also inspired by Rumble, by Royal Rumble, and Survivor Series. See, here's how it's inspired by the WarGames. The cage, the atmosphere, the chamber itself is inspired. The coin flip to see who starts the match. That. See who starts the match and then enters at random. That's basically all taken from WarGames. The eliminations are taken from Survivor Series and Royal Rumble. So, pretty much, there you go. There you go. Basically, well, actually, the drawing of the number is taken from Royal Rumble. The eliminations are taken from Survivor Series. But you see, that's the big difference. The only two things of WarGames there is the tossing of the coin to see who goes into the pods first and who are the first two to start the match. Here, basically, two people will start, and then after 5 minutes, you flip a coin to see who goes in next to give their team an advantage. That is something that, to me, would definitely bring a lot of interest and a lot of intrigue to the WWE product. And this is why I believe WarGames will be coming soon to WWE. And I believe Survivor Series is going to be the marquee event for it. I just feel this. I just believe it. So, let me know what you guys think, though. Do you think WarGames will debut soon in the WWE? I mean, considering we've got a DVD and Blu-ray based on it? Let me know what you guys think down below. Comment if you like. Talk to y'all later.